श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतम् अपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरह कातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिल श्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतिथितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुम् उपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। योगीन्द्राय नमस्तस्मै शुकाय ब्रह्मरूपिणे संसारसर्पदष्टं यो विष्णुरातम् अमूमुचत् कालव्यालमुखग्रास त्रासनिर्नाशहेतवे श्रीमद्भागवतं शास्त्रं कलौकीरेण भाषितम् एतस्मादपरं किञ्चित् मनःशुद्ध्यै न विद्यते जन्मान्तरे भवेत् पुण्यं तथा भागवतं लभेत् ज्ञानवैराग्यसम्पूर्णान् हरिभक्तिपरायणान् पूर्वाचार्यादहं वन्दे सम्प्रदायप्रवर्तकान् भगवन्नाम साम्राज्यं लक्ष्मी सर्वस्वविग्रहं श्रीमद्बोधेन्द्रयोगीन्द्र देशिकेन्द्रम् उपास्महे। कलिकालोचितं धर्मं नाम संकीर्तनात्मकं निर्णेतुम् अवतीर्णं तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परेरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षः कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुख्यर्थं भवसागरे मनोरथो मदीयोऽयं सफलः सर्वथा त्वया निर्विघ्नेनैव कर्तव्यो दासोऽहं तव केशव। श्रीहरये नमः श्रीहरये नमः श्रीहरये नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Welcome everyone. Yeah, I think I forgot to send the recording of 4.3. So we will do the review separately. So we just do 4.2 from 9 to 35. Amuchechi, can you do 4.2?
Sure. 4.2. Is that starting with the
9th stanza? It's like Shruyatam Brahmarshayo me.
Okay, sure. Gurubhyo namam Ganganpade. Sri Krishnaya Parabhramane Namah. Shruyadam Brahmarshayo me Sahadeva Sahagnayah Sadhunam Pruvado Vrittam Natnyananya Chamatsarad Ayam tu Lokapalanam Yashogno Nirapatrabah Sadviracharita Pandah Yena Stabdena Dushidah Esha me Sishyadam Prapto Yenme Duhituragrahit Panim Vipragni Mukadaha Savitriya Iva Sadhuvada गृहीत्वा मृगशाभाक्ष्याः पाणिं मर्कडलोचनः प्रत्युत्थानाभिवादार्हे वाजाप्यकृतनोचितम् लुप्तक्रियाया शुचये मानिने भिन्नसेतवे अनिच्छन्नप्यदाम्बालां शूद्रायेवोषधिं गिरम् प्रैतावासेषु घोरेषु प्रेतैर्भूतगणैर्वृतः अडत्युन्मत्तवन्नग्नो युक्तकेशो हसन्रुदन् चिदाभस्मकृतस्नानः प्रेतस्रङ्नस्तिभूषणः शिवापदेशो ह्यशिवो मत्तो मत्तजनप्रियः पदि प्रमथभूतानां तमो मात्रात्मकात्मनाम् तस्मा उन्मादनाथाय नष्टशौचाय दुर्हृदे दत्तापदमया साध्वी चोदिते परमेष्टिना मैत्रेय उवाच विनिन्द्यैवं स गिरिशम् अप्रदीपमवस्थितम् दक्षोधाव उपस्पृश्य क्रुद्धः शप्तुं प्रचक्रमे अयं तु देवयजने इन्द्रोपेन्द्रादिभिर्भवः सह भागं न लभतां देवैर्देवगणाधमः निषिध्यमानः सदस्य मुख्यैः दक्षो गिरित्राय विसृज्य शापं तस्मद्विनिष्क्रम्य विवृद्धमन्युः जगाम कौरव्य निजं निकेतनम् विज्ञाय शापं गिरिशानुगाग्रणीः नन्दीश्वरो रोषकषाय दूषितः दक्षाय शापं विससर्ज दारुणं ये चान्वमोदं स्तदवाच्यतां द्विजाः य एतन्मत्यमुद्दिश्य भगवत्य प्रतिद्रुहि द्रुह्यत् यज्ञपृथग्दृष्टिः तत्त्वतो विमुखो भवेत् गृहेषु गूढधर्मेषु सक्तो ग्राम्यसुखेच्छया कर्मतन्त्रं विदनुदे वेदवादविबन्नधीः बुद्ध्या परा विद्यायिन्या विस्मृतात्मगतिः पशुः स्त्रीकामस्त्वस्त्वतितरां दक्षोपस्थमुखोचिरात् विद्या बुद्धिरविद्यायां कर्ममय्यामसौ जडः संसरन्द्विहये चामुम् अनुसर्वावमानिनम् गिरश्रुताया पुष्पिण्याः मधुगन्धेन भूरिणा मद्नाचोन्मदिदात्मानः सम्मुह्यन्तु हरद्विषः सर्वभक्षाद्विजावृत्यै धृतविद्या तपोव्रताः वित्तदेहेन्द्रियारामाः याचका विचरन्त्विह तस्यैवं ददतः शापं श्रुत्वा द्विजकुलाय वै भृगुः प्रत्यसृजच्छापं ब्रह्मदण्डं दुरत्ययम् भवव्रतधरा ये च तान् समनुव्रताः पागण्डिनस्ते भवन्तु सच्चास्त्रपरिपन्थिनः नष्टशौचा मूढधियो जडाभस्मस्तिदारिणः विशन्तु शिवदीक्षायां यत्र दैवं सुरासवम् ब्रह्मज ब्राह्मणंश्चैव यद्यूयं परिनिन्दत सेतुं विधारणं पुंसाम् अधः पाखण्डमाश्रिताः एष एव हि लोकानां शिवः पन्था सनातनः यं पूर्वे चानुसन्दस्तु यत् प्रमाणं जनार्दनः
That second line, Santastuhu visarga is there.
यं पूर्वे चानुसन्दस्तुः तद्ब्रह्म परमं शुद्धं सदां वत्म सनातनं विगर्ह्य याधः पाषण्डं दैवं वो यत्र भूतराट् मैत्रेय उवाच तस्यैवं वदतः शापं भृगोः स भगवन् भवः निश्चक्राम ततः किञ्चित् विमना इव सानुगः ते विविश्वसृजः सत्रं सहस्रपरिवत्सरान् संविधाय महेश्वास यत्रेज्य ऋषभो हरिः अप्लुत्यावभृतं यत्र गङ्गा यमुनयान्विदा विरजेनात्मना सर्वे स्वं स्वं धामययुस्ततः इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां चतुर्थस्कन्धे दक्षशापो नाम द्वितीयोऽध्यायः श्रीहरे श्रीहरे श्रीहरे.
Perfect. All right, so we'll continue with from 16, but I think I have to say the meaning. I only tell the first portion of it of 4.3. We'll finish the meaning and then get going. So in 4.3, like we were seeing last time about how previously the sacrifice, that got completed, whatever they had gotten started with, that got completed. Shiva, Daksha, etc. left. And then, then there's a new Brahma made Daksha the leader of all of the Prajapatis, and Daksha wasn't heading on to do a bigger sacrifice. So at that time, the conversation that was happening between Sati and Shiva, because she's seeing that everybody is going, and they are not invited, of course. So she's building the case to say that, everybody else is going, and how, like, she feels like she needs to go as well, and how one doesn't need an invitation to go to somebody who's their relative or family and friend and all of that. And because she is also half of Shiva, she's Ardhanarishwara, she says out of compassion, I need to be going as well. That's kind of where we left at 14, right, in the meaning wise. So she Bhagavanu Vacha is kind of Shiva's response to Sati, right? So that's the second half of this chapter. So he just picks on certain things that she says. He says, you're right that for going into, your family, your parents' house, or close friends, relatives, that's absolutely fine. You can always go without invitation. You don't need an invitation to go to such anybody's house like that. But he says, but the people who are actually there, in the 16th second half, he says is Baliya sa natmya madhen. He says, if anybody's madhena, if anybody's filled with pride, filled with ego and filled with attachment to the body, then you should reconsider whether you should go without being invited, because they're filled with pride. So if they haven't invited you, they haven't invited you for a reason. So they may become angry at you, they may insult you, and all of these things. So he says that all the good qualities that we have, whether you have a lot of education or you have a lot of wealth and beauty, youth, everything, all of it is so that you don't worry about it. It's supposed to uplift a person and you are supposed to help others. But if the person uses that as a pride and it blinds them with a lot of pride, then that is the beginning of their downfall. All of this is the beginning of the downfall, right? And Bhaja Govindam Shankara, so he said very nicely that all of this will go off in a second. So don't get attached to any of these things, right? So one who is attached to it will always begin to discriminate on others. So he says, be careful of going to, uninvited to such people's thing. Then he says, that absolute Sati is a portion of Daksha. She's come from Daksha. So he says that you going is not a problem. Daksha is not going to, Daksha, of course, likes Sati as a daughter, but because you're associated with me, there's a good chance that you are going to get insulted because of that. Because Daksha doesn't like Shiva. Hatred has been going on for a really long time. So he feels that she going there is going to be insulting, right? So he wraps up finally saying that although it is your choice, right? He says, my recommendation would be you don't go, because you are going to get insulted, because Daksha hates me and you are uninvited guest there. He's filled with pride. And he says, you, Sati, being someone who's very noble and honorable, you are going to take that insult more seriously than I will. Right? That's what Shiva says, because Shiva is not affected by any curse or anything that Daksha actually says. He's remaining very, neutral in all of these things. But he says, you may not be like that. So you are going to get affected when more harsh things happens. So he says, don't go. So with that, this conversation between Sati and Shiva in this chapter comes to an end. So at the end is Uma Rudra Samvade, where that comes to an end. All right. So we'll see. We had Priya Srikumar, you can be a student, and let me see who else is there. Sriram, you can be a student. So 16, we'll start. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, this is Lord Shiva talking here. Tvayoditam shobhanameva shobhane, comma, anahuta apyabhiyanti bandhushu ye yadhyanutpadita dosha drishtayo, comma, baliyasanatmya, that's one word. So baliyasa anatmya, that's the word there. So baliyasanatmya madena manyuna. Shri Bhagavan Huvacha Tvayoditam Shobhanameva Shobhane Anahuta Apyabhiyanti Bandhusho Ye Yadhyanutpadita Dosha Drishtayo Balihya Sanatmya Madena Manyuna.
Rajesh, the second line, Yeva Teya.
Te. Or did I say A?
Yeda Kidvengal.
Okay, te.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha त्वयोदितं शोभनमेव शोभने अनाहुता अप्यभियन्ति बन्धुषु ते यद्यनुल्पादितदोषदृष्टयो बलीयसानात्म्यमदेन मन्युना।
श्रीभगवानुवाच द्व्यतोतितं शोभनमेव शोभने अनाहुदा अप्यभियन्ति बन्धुषु देयत्यनुत्पादितदोषदृष्ट्यो बलीयसानात्म्यते आत्मयमतेन मन्युना.
The Madena, just before that Madena, one word. So Baliyasanatmya Madena Manyuna.
So baliyasanamaत्मयते manena.
And the Madena, just leave it. And just the first Baliyasanatmya.
Baliyasanatmya.
Correct. Madena Manyuna. Then.
Okay.
Vidya Tapo Vitta Vapur Bayah Kulaihi, Satam Gunaish Shadbhir. I'm breaking at that rather. Shadbhir Asattametaraihi. Smritau Hatayam Bhrita Mana Durdrishaha, Sthabda na Pashyantihi Dhama Bhuyasam. Vidyatapo Vitta Vapurvayah Kulaihi Satam Gunai Shadbhirasattametaraihi Smritau Hatayam Bhritamana Durdrishaha Stabdha na Pashyantihi Dhama Bhuyasam.
विद्यातपो वित्तवपूर्वयः कुलैः सतां गुणैः षड्भिरसत्तमेतरैः स्मृतौ हतायां प्रदमान दुर्दृशः स्तब्धा न पश्यन्ति हि धाम भूयसाम्.
विद्यादभो वित्तवपूर्वै कुलैः सदां गुणैः षट्भिरसत्तमेतरैः स्मृतौ हदायां प्रदमान दुर्दृशः स्तब्धा न पश्यन्ति हि धाम भूयसाम्.
नैतादृशानां स्वजन व्यपेक्षया, गृहान् प्रतीयात्, breaking at the dadar, प्रतीयात् अनवस्थितात्मनां एभ्यागतान् वक्र धियाभिचक्षते, आरोपित भ्रूभिर्, breaking at the tra, भ्रूभिर् अमर्शनाक्षिभिः. नैतादृशानां स्वजनव्यपेक्षया गृहान् प्रतीयात् अनवस्थितात्मनां येभ्यागतान् वक्रधियाभिचक्षते आरोपितभ्रूभिरमर्शनाक्षिभिः.
नैतादृशानां स्वजनव्यपेक्षया गृहान् प्रदीयात् अनवस्थितात्मनां येभ्यागतान् वक्रधियाभिचक्षते आरोपितभ्रूभिरमर्शनाक्षिभिः.
नैतादृशानां स्वजनव्यपेक्षया गृहान् प्रदीयात् अनवस्थितात्मनां येभ्यागतान् वक्रधियाभिचक्षते आरोपितभ्रूभिरमर्शनाक्षिभिः.
The brew is a long u. Brubhir amarshanakshibihi.
Brubhir. Okay.
Tata ribhir na vyatate shili mukhaihi, sheterdi tango, one word, sheterdi tango hridayena duyata swanam yatha vakradhiyam duruktibihi. So that visarga will come there. Duruktibihi, visarga, Then that ir, which is on top of the divanisham, that goes away. Divanisham tapyati marma taditaha. Tataribhirna vyatate shili mukaihi shete ditango hridayena duyata swanam yata vakradhiyam durukthibihi divanisham tapyati marma taditaha.
तथारिभिर्न व्यथते शिलीमुखैः शेतेर्दिताङ्गो हृदयेन दूयता स्वानां यथा वक्रधियां दुरुक्तिभिः दिवानिशं तप्यति मर्मताडितः.
दधारिभिर्न व्यतते शिलीमुखैः सेदेर्तिताङ्गहृदयेन दूयत स्वानां यदा वक्रति यां दुरुक्तिभिः दिवानिसं दप्यति मर्मताडितः
व्यक्तं त्वमुत्कृष्ट गतेः प्रजापतेः प्रियात्मजानाम् असि शुभ्रु सम्मता अथापि मानं न पितुः प्रपत्स्यसे मद, so if you want to break it at मदाश्रयात् कः परितप्यते यतः व्यक्तं त्वमुत्कृष्टगतेः प्रजापतेः प्रियात्मजानाम् असि शुभ्रुसम्मता अथापि मानं न पितुः प्रपत्स्यसे मदाश्रयात् कः परितप्यते यतः
व्यक्तं त्वमुत्कृष्टगतेः प्रजापतेः प्रियात्मजानाम् असि शुभ्रुसम्मता अथापि मानं न पितुः प्रपत्स्यसे मदाश्रयात् कः परितप्यते यतः
व्यक्तं त्वमुत्कृष्टकते प्रजापतेः प्रियात्मजनामसि सुप्रसम्मदा अदाभिमानं न विदुः प्रपत्स्यते मदाश्रयत्कः परितप्यते यतः
The second line just before the comma, prapatsyase sa sound.
Okay.
Papachyamanena hridaturendriyah, one word, hridaturendriyah, comma, samriddhibhih purusha buddhi sakshinam akalpa. This next word I'm going to break it wherever the ma is there, it will be easy. Esham adhirodhum anjasa. Esham adhirodhum anjasa, comma, padam param dveshti yathasura harim. So this one he says, like that anybody who's like we spoke about, if you're not having a control of your mind, which automatically means that you don't have control of your senses, because control of your senses is a level below controlling the mind. So anybody who has no control of the mind or no control of the senses, anytime they see spiritually advanced beings, then they get very envious. So you should not get envy. You can get jealous of somebody who's very rich because you may need more money. But somebody who's spiritually advanced, you cannot get envious of them, right? So he says such beings get spiritually envious, which is referring to Daksha here, and saying that when such people are there, so whoever is Yatha Sura Harim, all the people who are worshipping Hari, they get envious of all of them, because of which they start insulting all of those beings. That's why he's recommending Daksha is not the right place to go to. That Daksha is going to learn his lesson. Later on, he's going to be born second time, right after this. Because although he's a Prajapati, even then you are bound by karma. You are not free from everything, right? So he's going to later on, he's going to be born to the Prachetas later on. So papacyamanena hridaturendriyah samriddhibhih purusha buddhi sakshinam akalpa yesham adirodhumanjasa padam param dveshti yathasura harim.
पापच्यमानेन हृदा तुरेन्द्रियः समृद्धिभिः पूरुषबुद्धिसाक्षिणाम् अकल्प येषाम् अधिरोढुमञ्जसा पदं परं द्वेष्टि यथा सुरा हरिम्
आपश्यमानेन हृदा दुरेन्द्रियः समृद्धिभिः पुरुषबुद्धिसाक्षिणाम् अगल्प येषाम् अधिरोढुमञ्जसा padam param veshti yada suraharim.
And the first line is the Purusha, long U, okay, and the first Purusha Buddhi.
Oh, samriddhi Purusha, okay.
Pratyudgama Prashrayanabhivadanam, one word, Prashrayanabhivadanam, comma, Vidhiyate sadhu mitas sumadhyame Pragnaif Parasmai Purushaya Chetasa, comma, Guha Shayayeva na Dehamanine. Pratyudgama Prashrayanabhivadanam Vidhiyate sadhumita sumadhyame Pragnaif Parasmai Purushaya Chetasa Guhashayayeva na Dehamanine.
प्रत्युद्गमप्रश्रयणाभिवादनं विधीयते साधुमिथः सुमध्यमे प्राज्ञैः परस्मै पुरुषाय चेतसा गुहाशयायैव न देहमानिने.
प्रत्युत्तमप्रश्रयणाभिवादनं विधीयते साधुमिदः समुद्यमे प्राञ्जैर्परस्मै पुरुषाय सेदशा गुहासयायैव न ते हमानिने.
And the first line, last word, su madhyame.
विधीयते साधुमिदः सुमुद्यमे.
Su madhyame.
மூ போட்டிருக்கிற
இல்ல su madhyame.
ஓ சுமத்தியமே சரி ஓகே.
And the mu, just the u is in the sa sound, yeah. So abhivadanam is to offer namaskarams, right? So he says that, normal people, we respect because somebody is elder, or somebody is more senior to you, or all of that. He says, but the true spiritually intelligent people, with the respect that they are doing, is to the Paramatma inside the other person, not to the person itself, right? So that's why when you say the word namaste, namahate, it is saying the Paramatma in me is going to the Paramatma in you, not to you as a body, right? So he says, so Daksha sees this elevation of people. You are better than me, I am not better than you. He's seeing based on the body. So Shiva is saying, for me, everybody is the same because I'm able to see the Paramatma inside everybody. So for me, for him, he's saying that I don't care if somebody respects me or not, nor do I want, because I'm already respecting the Paramatma inside somebody else. I don't have to stand up and physically do a namaskaram to show that, right? So that's the kind of difference he's saying, like Dehamani means he's not, I don't have to show that because I'm automatically doing namaskarams to that Paramatma. I don't have to worry about the body of that person. Pratyudgama prashrayanabhivadanam. Oh, sorry, we did that. Sattvam vishuddham vasudeva shabdhitam, yadiyate tatra puman apavritah sattve cha tasmin bhagavan vasudevo, hyadokshajo me namasa vidhiyate. So I actually was referencing this in my different class today. So we were doing the Paundraka Vasudeva story in our name, and I was telling that that Paundraka, he wanted to have the name Vasudeva, not because Krishna is born to the son of Vasudeva, because Krishna is born to the son of Vasudeva is Vasudeva, right? But that's not why he wanted the name Vasudeva, because like we had seen earlier, the pure supreme consciousness is called as Vasudeva. The pure Shuddha consciousness is called Vasudeva. So when we say the word, when we say Vasudeva Kutumbam, when people refer to it, it refers to the fact that all of us are connected by the supreme consciousness. It's the same supreme consciousness in everybody. So we are all part of the same family. So that Vasudeva, the supreme Lord, who's the consciousness of everybody. So that's why the original name is Vasudeva. But in this case, in Krishna Avataram, Krishna is born to Vasudeva, so also is called Vasudeva. So here that word Vasudeva is being referred there is not necessarily to say the son of Vasudeva, Krishna. It is referring to the Vasudeva, who's the supreme consciousness, right? That is saying my mind is always placed and connected to that Vasudeva state. That's what she was saying. That's why that word is coming there. Sattvam vishuddham vasudeva shabditam yadiyate tatra pumanapavritah sattve cha tasmin bhagavan vasudevo yadhokshajo me namasa vidhiyate.
Sattvam vishuddham vasudeva shabditam yadiyate tatra pumanapavritah sattve cha tasmin bhagavan vasudevo yathokshajo me namasa vidhiyate.
सत्वं विसुप्तं वसुदेव सत्तितं यदीयते तत्र भुमानभावृतः सत्त्वे च तस्मिन् भगवान् वासुदेवो यदोक्षजो मे नमसा विधीयते.
Tatte nirikshyo na pitapi dehakrit, daksho mama dvit tadanuvrataschaye. If you want to break it, tad anuvrataschaye. Yo vishwa srit yajna gatam varoru mam, breaking at that mam, next word starts with the a, anagasam durvacha sakarothiraha. That's one word, cannot break it. Tatte nirikshyo na pitapi dehakrit daksho mamadvit tadanuvrataschaye. Yo vishwasrit yajna gatam varoru mam anagasam durvacha sakarothiraha.
Tatte niriksho na pitapi dehakrit daksho mama dvit तदनुव्रताश्च ये यो विश्वसृज्ञगतं वरोरुमाम् अनागसं दुर्वचसा करोत्तिरः
तत्ते निरीक्ष्यनापिदाभिदेहकृत् तक्षो मम त्वित्तदनुव्रातश्चये यो
व्रताश्चये
त्वित्तदनुव्रताश्चये. அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இது கரெக்டா ராஜேஷ்? தத்தேவா?
तत्ते
तत्ते निरीक्ष्यनापिदाभिदेहकृत् तक्षो मम त्वित्तदानुव्रताश्चये यो विश्वसृत् यज्ञ कदं वरोरुम्
माम
वरोरुमाम् अनकासं सुर्वस सागरुत्तिरः.
and the word da sound durvachasa karottirah
अनाकसं दुर्वचो सागरुत्तिरः.
यदि Vrajishyasyathihaya, one word cannot break it. Vrajishyasyathihaya madvacho, comma, bhadram bhavatya na tato bhavishyati, sambhavitasya swajanat parabhavo, comma, yada sa sadhyo maranaya kalpate. Yadi vrajishyasyathihaya madvacho, bhadram bhavatya na tato bhavishyati, संभावितस्य स्वजनात् पराभवो यथा स सद्यो मरणाय कल्पते.
यदि व्रजिष्यस्यतिहाय मद्वजो भद्रं भवत्या न ततो भविष्यति संभावितस्य स्वजनात् पराभवो यदा स सद्यो मरणाय कल्पते.
यदि व्रजिष्यस्यतिहाय मद्वजो भद्रं भवत्या न ततो भविष्यति संभावितस्य स्वजनात् पराभवो यदा स सद्यो मरणाय कल्पते.
इति श्रीमद् भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां चतुर्थस्कन्धे उमा रुद्र संवादे तृतीयोऽध्यायः.
Rajesh, I note the Sati Rudra Sambade pottirukku. Both
Fine.
are same,
Yeah,
right?
same. Yeah. So, yeah.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां चतुर्थस्कन्धे उमारुद्रसंवादे तृतीयोऽध्यायः.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां चतुर्थस्कन्धे उमारुद्रसंवादे तृतीयोऽध्यायः.
In the context, the Devi's name is Sati only. So Uma is a more broader name. The Sati is the name later on. Sati, Dhakshayani are the names in this incarnation. Then once she gives up her body and then she incarnates again, then she's born as Parvati. So that thing change, name will change technically, but that's fine. Either Uma or Sati, either is fine. Ata Chaturthodhyayah Maitreyo Vacha Etavat Uktva Virarama Shankaraha, Patnyanga Nasham Hubayatra Chintayan Suhrit Didrukshuf. Okay, that double there. Suhrit Didrukshuf Parishankita Bhavat. If you have a double na and a ni there, one of that na becomes a it. So Bhavat, next word starts with the ni. Nishkramati Nirvishati Dvidhasa sa. Maitreyo vacha etavaduktva virarama shankaraha patnyanganasham hubayatra chintayan suhruddhi drukshav parishankita bhavat nishkramati nirvishati dvidhasa sa.
मैत्रेयो वाचा एतावदुक्त्वा विदराम शङ्करः पत्न्यङ्गनाशं ह्युभयत्र चिन्तयन् सुहृद्दिदृक्षुः परिशङ्किता भवात् निष्क्रामति निर्विशति द्विधा ससा.
मैत्रेय उवाच एतावदुक्तव विरराम शङ्करः पद्यङ्कनासं ह्युभयत्र चिन्तयन् सुहृत्तितृक्षुस्परिशङ्किता भवात् निष्क्रामति निर्वसूदी त्वदा सा.
Then the bhavat is a comma there. Parishankita bhavat.
Parisankita bhavat. Nishkramati nirvasadi, Rajesh?
Nirvishati.
Oh, no. Nishkramati nirvishati tvadisa saha. Saha.
Dvidhasasa.
Videsa sa. Okay.
Suhrit didriksha pratighata durmanaha, comma. So next word, snehat. Let's say, I'm just breaking that dhru there. Snehat rudatyashru kalati vihvala. That will be easy to break it at that point there. Snehat rudatyashru kalati vihvala. Rest of the word is together. So bhavam bhavanya prati purusham rusha, comma. Pradhakshyati vaikshata. Cannot break that word. Pradhakshyati vaikshata jata vepatuhu. सुहृद्दिदृक्षा प्रतिघातदुर्मनाः स्नेहाद्रुदत्यश्रुकलातिविह्वला भवं भवान्यप्रतिपूरुषं रुषा प्रधक्ष्यति वैक्षतजातवेपतुः.
सुहृद्दिदृक्षा प्रतिघातदुर्मनाः स्नेहाद्रुदत्यश्रुकलातिविह्वला भवं भवान्यप्रतिपूरुषं रुषा प्रथक्ष्यति वैक्षतजातवेपतुः.
सुहृद्दिदृक्षा प्रतिघातदुर्मनाः स्नेहाद्रुदत्यस्पृकलातिविह्वला भवं भवान्यप्रतिपूरुषं रुषा प्रत्यक्षति वैक्षतजातवे वधुः.
We'll just switch here. I'll just take maybe in the first 10 stanzas, 15 stanzas, I'm going to say the meaning this because I've got a couple of parts to this. So the first part, so this conversation happens between Shiva and Sati, and Shiva says, okay, don't go because for all the reasons that we discussed. So at the time, Sati is very torn. She doesn't know what to do, right? So because in the sense, like she feels like she has to go, but she also knows that there are strong reasons, like how Shiva said, she should not be going. But somehow she's, making her mind that she's going to go, right? And she decides to go. So when she decides to go, so of course, all of Shiva's disciples, Nandishwara, all the Bhuta Ganas, everybody decide to accompany her because Shiva is not coming. So she's going alone. So everybody decide to accompany her and then they all go along with her. So she enters into this arena where all this, where the yajna and everything is actually happening. Everybody is there. All the great sages are there. Brahm, all the demigods, everybody is there. All the assembly, everyone is there. All the yajna is happening. When she enters, no one from there gets up because they know that Daksha doesn't want them to get up because he's the head of the Prajapatis. He's right, like next in line to Brahma. So nobody wants to offend Daksha. So everybody is seated. Nobody welcomes. Nobody says hi. Neither does Daksha. So everybody's sitting, but her other sisters, because remember that Daksha has got 16 daughters, right? So all the others were all there. They're all fine. The mother, everybody, they're all talking to Sati. Everybody is doing that. But Daksha and the rest of the people don't even recognize her or don't even welcome her. So at the time so she is able to notice it that nobody even recognizes her, nobody says anything. So all the others, the followers of Shiva who have actually come along there, they also get very offended. And they are ready to pounce and attack Daksha. Sati says, no, that's not the right way here. No, don't do that. She stops them because that's going to happen much later. So she initially stops them. And with them, then what she does is she starts condemning Daksha. So Sati, initially we saw the conversation that was happening where, Bhrigu cursed, Nandishwara cursed, all of it, Daksha, badmouth Shiva. So now it is Sati's turn to tell Daksha how wrong he is, right? So she goes on a long conversation to Daksha saying that, that the person, like somebody who's like the Lord Shiva, is universally compassionate. He's like Ashutoshi. He's the person who can be easily pleased. So which means he doesn't treat anybody as an enemy. He doesn't treat anybody as a friend. He says only a person like Daksha could criticize somebody who's beyond these dualities of saying good or bad, I like, I don't like. So beyond all of these dualities, if somebody has to criticize Shiva, only Daksha is possible. She says the problem is Daksha is in the way you see things, right? And not in Shiva. And, she says that Daksha, she contrasts them, very clearly. She says that you find the smallest of fault. That's what all our spouses tell us also. You find the smallest of fault. When everything is good, you find that one small thing, that's what you do, Daksha. Shiva, even though somebody has a lot of faults, he finds the one good thing in them. and he actually praises them, right? So he kind of contrasts Shiva and Daksha in this way. And just like Behouse, like Shiva had said earlier, the Sati says that, the people who are so attached to the material body, they're so attached to things which are materialistic in nature, so they cannot appreciate all the great souls. They cannot appreciate all these great beings. Only the greatest of saintly people can see that even an ordinary person is a great person, because they're able to look beyond all the material things. And that's the difference between that. And she says, even the name that you say Shiva, which means auspiciousness, that itself has the word auspiciousness, and people who say that itself becomes auspicious. How can somebody go and condemn or say bad things to somebody like that? And then she picks on what Daksha said, where Daksha had said long time back that Shiva is roaming in crematorium. All the people are wearing ashes all over the body. The people are wearing skulls. It's all the ghosts and the bhutas, pretas, pisachas, and all of that. He says that is again because you are only looking at the outward appearance of it. He says even the greatest of Brahma can recognize the greatness of Shiva and worships Shiva. But again, because you only look at the outward appearances, you seem to condemn, because you are so associated saying that somebody has to look like this. And if the person doesn't look like that, like some of the great devotees of Shiva, you condemn them. But he says that is a difference between you are not able to look at the inner purity, right, of Shiva and all of that. So with that, she goes all this way and she says that when you have a poison in your body, when you sip something and it is not good or it's poison, you have to throw the entire thing out. You have to spit and vomit everything out, right? So she says, because she has come from the body of Daksha, because Sati has come from the body of Daksha, she says the poison of Daksha's body is in her body. So she says that I have to essentially give up my body, because my body is contaminated, because it has actually come from Daksha itself, right? And she says one thing very nicely, right, saying that when we grade, or when you kind of when what do you call, when you measure people, right? So he says there's a scale for measuring people who are material in nature. So you say this person is so rich, this person is all of these things. Then there is this measure for people who are spiritually detached. He says what the mistake you did, Daksha, is you use the scale of material nature to measure somebody who's of spiritual nature. He says those scales are completely different. So you cannot use the wrong scale in actually measuring the people. Anyway, she talks about all of these things. She goes into a long explanation about it, saying that how her body has become impure. And it says it's not about the hatred of her father. She doesn't hate her father for anything, but the fact that he could not recognize the greatness of Shiva. And she says, when Shiva calls me the word Dakshayani, which means the name, which is the daughter of Daksha, she's feeling very pain and embarrassed by that, because every time he calls her by that name Dakshayani, it reminds her of Daksha and all the things that he's actually done. So she says, I don't want this body anymore, right? So that is where we kind of stop there, which is like about 23 stanzas. So it's a long conversation, as you can see, from Sri Devyo Vacha starts at 11 and then it goes to 23. So long conversation. She tells Daksha about how she's very disappointed in the way he treats. He doesn't know how to separate all of these things, right? But that's the takeaway. Anyway, the very end of this, she's going to give up her current body, which is the last part of it. Okay, Priya Sriram, he can be student, and Srividya Sriram, he can be student. Tato vinishwasya sati vihayatam, shokena roshena cha duyata hrida. Pitror agat, I'm just breaking at that ra. Pitror agat straina vimudha dir grihan, premnatmano yordha matat satam priyah. Tato vinishwasya sati vihayatam shokena roshena cha duyata hrida. Pitror agat straina vimudha dir grihan, premnatmano yordha matat satam priyah.
ततो विनिश्वस्य सती विहायतं शोकेन रोषेण च दूयता हृदा पित्रोरगात् स्त्रैण विमूढधीर्गृहान् प्रेम्णात्मनो योर्धमदात् सतां प्रियः.
ततो विनिश्वस्य सती विहायतं शोकेन रोषेण च दूयता हृदा पित्रोरगात्स्त्रैण विमूढधीर्गृहान् प्रेम्णात्मनो योर्धमदात् सतां प्रियः
ताम् अन्वगच्छन् द्रुत विक्रमां सतीं, ब्रेकिंग at the ma, सतीं एकां त्रिनेत्रानुचरा सहस्रशः, so त्रिनेत्रानुचरा सहस्रशः, स पार्षद यक्षा मणिमन् मदादयः, पुरो वृषेन्द्रास् तरसा गतव्यताः। ताम् अन्वगच्छन् विक्रमां सतीम् एकां त्रिनेत्रानुचरा सहस्रशः, स पार्षद यक्षा मणिमन्मदादयः, पुरो वृषेन्द्रास्तरसा गतव्यताः।
तामन्वगच्छन् द्रुतविक्रमां सतीम् एकां त्रिनेत्रानुचराः सहस्रशः, सपार्षदयक्षा मणिमन्मदादयः, पुरो वृषेन्द्रास्तरसा गतव्यथाः।
ताम् अन्वगच्छन् धृतविक्रमां सतीम् एकां त्रिनेत्रानुचराः सहस्रशः सपार्षद्यक्षा मणिमन्मदादयः पुरो वृषेन्द्रास्तरसा गतव्यताः।
The Parshada, I think you said Parshad, Parshada Yaksha.
Okay, Parshada. Okay.
Tam Sarika Kanduka Darpanambuja, put a plus, Shvetata Patra Vyajana Sragadibihi. So that line is full. Gita Yanayit Dundhubi Shanka Venubihi, Visarga comma, Venubihi. Next, the ir goes away on top of Vrishendra. Vrishendram Aropya Vitankita Yayuhu. Just talks about the procession they are going when Sati is leaving Shiva and going. They all go as a group because all the Bhuta Ganas, Nandishwara, everybody is going as a big group supporting her. That's what this line is telling. Tam Sarika Kanduka Darpanambuja Shvetata Patra Vyajana Sragadhibihi Gitaya Nairdundubhi Shanka Venubihi Vrishendramaropya Vitankitaya Yuhu.
तां सारिका कन्दुकदर्पणाम्बुजश्वेतातपत्रव्यजनस्रगादिभिः गीतायनैर्दुन्दुभिः शङ्खवेणुभिः वृषेन्द्रमारोप्य विटङ्किताययुः।
तां सारिका कन्दुकदर्पणाम्बुज श्वेतात्पत्रव्यजनसृगादिभिः गीतायनैर्दुन्दुभिशङ्खवेणुभिः वृषेन्द्रमारोप्य विटङ्किताययुः।
आब्रह्म घोषोर्जित यज्ञ वैशसं विप्रर्षि जुष्टं विबुधैश्च सर्वशः मृद्धार्वयः काञ्चन दर्भ चर्मभिः विसर्गा चर्मभिः. Next, the ir on top of the knee goes away. Nisrishta bhandam yajanam samavishat. Abrahma goshorjita yajna vaishasam viprarshi jushtam vibudhaischa sarvashah mriddarvayah kanchana darbha charmabihi nisrishta bhandam yajanam samavishat.
ब्रह्मघोषोर्जितयज्ञवैशसं विप्रर्षिजुष्टं विबुधैश्च सर्वशः मृद्दार्वयः काञ्चन दर्भचर्मभिः निसृष्टभाण्डं यजनं समाविशत्.
ब्रह्मघोषोर्जितयज्ञवैशसं विप्रर्षिजुष्टं विप्रर्षिजुष्टं विबुधैश्च सर्वशः मृद्दार्वयः काञ्चनदर्भचर्मभिः निसृष्टभाण्डं यजनं समाविशत्. विशत्
तामागतां तत्र न Kaschanadriyat. So the dvi sound that is there, first break it as a it. Kaschanadriyat, comma. Next one will start with a V. Vimanitam yajna kruto bhayajjanah. Rite swa srirve jananim cha sadaraha, comma. Premashru kantyah Parishaswajurmuda.
We have
Tama.
second line, the first line, natriyat nirke. Is it yat, the first line?
Yeah, I also have it as yat.
Nadriyat.
Kaschana. Oh, Nadriyat. Yeah. No, sorry, I said
Okay.
Yat. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Nadriyat. Yeah.
Okay.
Tamagatam tatra na kaschanadriyate. Vimanitam yajñakrito bhayajjanah. Rite swasrurve jananim cha sadaraha. Premashrukantyah parishaswajurmudha.
तामागतां तत्र न कश्चनाद्रियत् विमानितां यज्ञकृतो भयाज्जनः ऋते स्वसृर्वे जननीं च सादराः प्रेमाश्रुकण्ठ्यः परिशस्वजुर्मुदा
तामागतां तत्र न क्रियत् विमानितां यज्ञकृतो भयाज्जनः ऋते स्वसृर्वै जननीं च साधराः प्रेमाश्रकण्ठ्यः परिष्वजुर्मदा.
The word on there, you cannot break it, unfortunately. So,
Okay.
Parishaswajurmuda.
Parishasvajurmuda. Okay.
Saudarya.
Rajesh, one second. The Rudesh was Rurvaya, Rurveva.
Rurvai. Ruteswa Srirvai. And the double R and Y there. R and Irvai. Srir, Ir and Y. Yeah. So, double R, Ir and Y. Yeah. Saudarya Samprashna Samartha Vartaya. Matracha Matrishvasribhishcha. This is one word. It's Matrishu Asrubhishcha. So it's one word combined. So Matrishvasribhishcha Sadaram. Dattam Saparyam Varamasanam Chasa. Nadatta Pitra Pratinandita Sati. Longi. Saudharya Samprashna Samartha Vartaya. Matra cha Matrishvasribhishcha Sadaram. Dattam saparyam varamasanam chasa nadatta pitra pratinandita sati.
सौदर्यसम्प्रश्नसमर्थवार्तया मात्रा च मातृष्वसृभिश्च सादरं दत्तां सपर्यां वरमासनं च सा नादत्तपित्रा प्रतिनन्दिता सती
सौदर्यसम्प्रश्नसमर्थवार्तया मात्रा च मातृष्वऋभिश्च सादरं दत्तां सपर्यां वरमासनं च सा नादत्तपित्रा प्रतिनन्दिता सती.
Arudra bhagam tamavekshya chadvaram, pitra cha deve kritahelanam vibhau anadrita yajna sadasyadhishwari, chukopa lokaniva dhakshyati rusha. So Arudra Bhagam means the Bhagam, the portion which is separated for Rudra. When we do the Homam, we have all these demigods and Indra. Everybody gets a share of the Yajna of the thing. So there is an allocation of a seat for Rudra and a portion of it goes. So none of that was there. When she comes there, she sees that not only was she's not invited, none of these portions where the Rudra's Bhagam also was not kept. There was no seat also for him. Arudra Bhagam tamavekshya chadvaram Pitra cha deve kritahelanam vibhau anadrita yajna sadasyadhishwari chukopa lokaniva dhakshyati rusha.
अरुद्रभागं तमवेक्ष्य चाध्वरं पित्रा च देवे कृतहेलनं विभौ अनादृता यज्ञसदस्यधीश्वरी चुकोपलोकानिव धक्ष्यतीरुषा.
अरुद्रभागं तमवेक्ष्य चाध्वरं पित्रा च देवे कृतहेलनं विभौ अनादृता यज्ञसदस्यधीश्वरी चुकोपलोकानिव धक्ष्यतीरुषा.
Jagarha Samarsha Vipannaya Gira, Shiva Dvisham Dhuma Pata Shrama Smayam Swatejasa Bhuta Ganan Samuttitan, Nigrihya Devi Jagatobhishrinvatah. One word. Jagarha Samarsha Vipannaya Gira शिवद्विषं धूमपतश्रमस्मयं स्वतेजसा भूतगणान् समुत्थितान् निगृह्य देवी जगतोऽभिशृण्वतः
जगर्हसामर्षविपन्नया गिरा शिवद्विषं धूमपतश्रमस्मयं स्वतेजसा भूतगणान् समुत्थितान् निगृह्य देवी जगतोऽभिशृण्वतः
जगर्हसामर्षविपन्नया गिरा शिवद्विषं धूमपथश्रमस्मयं स्वतेजसा भूतगणान् समुत्थितान् निगृह्य देवी जगतोऽभिशृण्वत्
शृण्वतः
शृण्वतः
श्रीदेव्युवाच. This is now Shita's telling Daksha. Na yasya lokestyatishayan. One word. So loke and then the S symbol is coming. So lokestyatishayanah priyaha is goes away. Visarga comma. Tatha priyo deha bhritam priyatmanah tasmin samastatmani mukta vairake comma ऋथे भवन्तं कथमः प्रतीपयेत्. श्रीदेव्युवाच न यस्य लोकेऽस्त्यतिशाय नः प्रियः तथा प्रियो देहभृतां प्रियात्मनः तस्मिन् समस्तात्मनि मुक्तवैरके ऋते भवन्तं कथमः प्रतीपयेत्.
श्रीदेव्युवाच न यस्य लोकेऽस्त्यतिशाय नः प्रियः तथा प्रियो देहभृतां प्रियात्मनः तस्मिन् समस्तात्मनि मुक्तवैरके ऋते भवन्तं कथमः प्रतीपयेत्.
श्रीदेव्युवाच न यस्य लोकेऽस्त्यतिशाय नः प्रियः तथा प्रियो देहभृतां प्रियात्मनः तस्मिन् समस्तात्मनि मुक्तवैरके ऋते भवन्तं कथमः प्रतीपयेत्.
दोषान् परेषां हि गुणेषु साधवो गृह्णन्ति केचिन्न भवादृशा द्विज गुणांश्च फल्गून् बहुलीकरिष्णवो महत् तमास्तेष्वविधत्. That word is one word. Teshvavidhat bhavanagam. You can break at that point. The and bha there. दोषान् परेषां हि गुणेषु साधवो गृह्णन्ति केचिन्न भवादृशा द्विज गुणांश्च फल्गून् बहुलीकरिष्णवो महत्तमास्तेष्वभिदद्भवानघम्.
दोषान् परेषान् हि गुणेषु साधवो गृह्णन्ति केचिन्न भवादृशाद्विज गुणांश्च फल्गून् बहुलीकरिष्णवो महत्तमास्तेष्वभिदद्भवानघम्.
दोषान् परेषां हि गुणेषु साधवो गृह्णन्ति केचिन्न भवादृशाद्विज गुणांश्च फल्गून् बहुलीकरिष्णवो महत्तमास्तेष्वभिदद्भवानघम्.
Nascharya. So this next word, I'm going to break it into three parts, but you do whatever is convenient for you. Nascharyam yetat yadasatsu. So it's a dhya sound. It makes sense to break it into it and a ya if you want to. So Nascharyam yetat yadasatsu sarvada, mahat vinindha kunapatma vadishu sershyam maha purusha pada Pamsubihi, Visarga comma there, Pamsubihi. Next line, ir goes away. Nirasta tejassu tadeva shobhanam. Nascharyametad yadasatsu sarvadha mahat vinindha kunapatma vadishu sershyam mahapurusha pada pamsubihi nirasta tejassu tadeva shobhanam.
नाश्चर्यमेतद्यदसत्सु सर्वदा महद्विनिन्दा कुणपात्मवादिषु सेर्ष्यं महापूरुषपादपांसुभिः निरस्ततेजस्सु तदेव शोभनम्.
नाश्चर्यमेतद्यदसत्सु सर्वदा महद्विनिन्दा महद्विनिन्दाकुणपात्मवादिषु श्रेष्यं महापुरुषपादपांसुभिः निरस्ततेजस्सु तदेव शोभनम्.
Yet, Dveksharam refers to Dvi Aksharam, refers to the Shi and Va. So she says by saying the letters, the two Aksharams of Shi and Va, Shiva itself destroys all the sins. But then, it's beyond all this impurity, but still you're condemning him. So that's the context of the word there. Yet Dveksharam Nama Gireritam Nrinam, comma, Sakrit Prasangat Aghamashu Hantitate Pavitra Kirtim Tamalangya Shasanam, comma, Bhavanaho Dveshti Shivam Shivetaraha.
Rajesh, can you repeat the second word in the first line? How do you say it? Half and there, right?
No, Dveksha, Dvi Aksharam. So Dveksharam. So it becomes more like DVAK, Dveksha. Yeah, DVAK, Dveksharam.
Okay, thank you.
Yadveksharam nama gireritam nrinam sakrit prasangat aghamashu hanti tate pavitra kirtim tamalangya shasanam bhavanaho dveshti shivam shivetaraha.
यद्वक्षरं नाम गिरेरितं नृणां सकृत्प्रसङ्गादगमाशु हन्ति तत् पवित्रकीर्तिं तमलङ्घ्य शासनं भवानहो द्वेष्टि शिवं शिवेतरः.
यद्यक्षरं नाम गिरेरितुं नृणां सकृत्प्रसङ्गात् अगमाशु हन्ति तत् पवित्रकीर्तिं तमलङ्घ्य शासनं भवानहो द्वेष्टि शिवं शिवेतरः.
Yat pada padmam mahatam manolibihi, visarga comma, libihi. Next, the ir on top of the knee goes away. Nishevitam brahma rasasavarthibihi, one word, rasasavarthibihi. Lokasya yadvarshati chashishorthinaha. Again, that word is one long word. Chashishorthinaha is goes away, visarga comma. Tasmai bhavan druhyati vishwa bandhave. Yat pada padmam mahatam manolibihi nishevitam brahma rasa savarthibihi lokasya yadvarshati chashishorthinaha tasmai bhavan druhyati vishwa bandhave.
यत्पादपद्मं महतां मनोलिभिः निषेवितं ब्रह्मरसासवार्थिभिः लोकस्य यद्वर्षति चाशिशोऽर्थिनः तस्मै भवान् द्रुह्यति विश्वबन्धवे.
यत्पादपद्मं महतां मनोलिभिः निषेवितं ब्रह्मरसासवार्थिभिः लोकस्य यद्वर्षति चाशिशोऽर्थिनः तस्मै भवान् द्रुह्यति विश्वबन्धवे.
Just one last switch. Satya, you can be a student, and Srividya, Sriram. Kim va Shivakyam Ashivam, if you want to break it, that ma. Shivakyam Ashivam na vidustvadanye, comma. This is like the long 4-line sentence. Brahmadayas tamavakirya jatashmashane tan malya bhasma nrikapalya vasat. One word. Nrikapalya vasat pishachaihi. Visarga, comma, pishachaihi. Next, on top of the ye, there is the ir that goes away. Ye murdabhir dhadati tat charanava srishtam. Kim vashivakyam ashivam na vidustvadhanye brahmadayastamavakirya jatashmashane tanmalya bhasma nrikapalya vasat pishachaihi ye murdabhir dadati tat charanava srishtam.
किं वा शिवाक्यम् अशिवं न विदुत्सवदन्ये ब्रह्मादयस्तमवकीर्य जटाश्मशाने तन्माल्य भस्मन् नृकपाल्य पिशाचैः ये मूर्धभिर्दधति तच्चरणावसृष्टम्.
किं वा शिवाख्यमशिवं न विदुस्त त्वदन्ये ब्रह्मादयस्तमव कीर्य जटा श्मशाने तन्माल्य भस्म नृकपाल्यवस्पिशाचः ये मूर्तिभिर्दधति तच्चरणावसृष्टम्.
And this third line, bas pishachaihi.
Oh, pishachaihi.
Yeah. Okay. This is where he says even Brahma bows to Shiva, even though Shiva might, he might look with all of those jata smashane, he's going in the smashanam and with the jatam and all the things. Karnau pidhaya niriyat yadakalpa. It's easy to break that dhya into a it and a ya there. Niriyat yadakalpa ishe, comma, dharma vitharya srinibhir nribhirasyamane chindhyat prasahya rushatim asatim prabhushchet. So you might have an ij and a g in the next line. That ij becomes a it. So prabhushchet, first ta, comma. Next word will start with the g. Jihvam asunapi tato visrujetsa dharmaha. So that the g is just a joining thing, but the letter is it in the previous line. Karnau pidhaya niriyadhyadakalpayishe dharma vitarya srinibhir nribhirasyamane chindhyat prasahya rushatim asatim prabhushchet jihvam asunapi tato visrujetsa dharmaha.
कर्णौपिदाय निरीयात् यदकल्पयीशे धर्मा वितर्ग्यश्रिनिभिर्नृभिरस्यमाने चिन्द्यात् प्रसज्ञ रुशतीम् असतीं प्रभुश्चेत् जिह्वाम सूनपि ततो विसृजेत् स धर्मः
कर्णौ पिधाय निर्यात्यदकल्प ईशे धर्मा विदर्ग्यशृणुभिर्निरूपिरस्यमाने चिन्त्यात् प्रहस्य रुधिम् असत् अधीं प्रभुश्चेत् जिह्वामसूनपि ततो विसृजेत् स धर्मः.
Third line, rushatim asat. Go ahead.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல கர்ணாய பிதாய நிரயாத்னு இருக்கு. நிரி இல்ல.
Niriyad.
Riya is not
I also have it as Nira, not Niri.
No, I have it as Niriyad only.
So is it a short Ri or a long E?
Short Ri. Karnau pidhaya niriyat yadakalpa.
Okay.
I don't know what's the difference between Nira and Niri. I don't know the subtle difference there in the meaning or anything. But the book has Niriyat. So
okay. Thank you, Rich.
So if this one interesting thing he says is Sati is saying that anytime somebody is condemning a great devotee or a great deity, right? Somebody is talking bad about it. She says the responsibility, the dharmic duty is a couple of things. One is you should, tell the person to stop. That's one option. But if you're not able to let the person stop, he says you leave from that place. That is the other option. So he says, you don't try to argue and fight and all of that. Or she's saying if you're in a higher person, then you can punish, but none of us are in that situation. So, so here the recommendation here is in that case, you cannot argue, you tell them not to do it, which is what she's telling Daksha, that you cannot do that. What you did is wrong. The second option is she can't punish Daksha anyways, because then she said, third option is I'm going to leave the place, but in that case, she's going to leave her body. But that is she's just talking about those things there before she leaves the body. Atastavot pannamidam kalevaram, comma, na dharayishye shiti kantha garhinaha jagdhasya mohadhi vishuddhim andaso. So breaking at that ma, vishuddhim andaso jugupsi tasyo dharanam. Again, cannot break that word. Jugupsi tasyo dharanam prachakshate. Atastavotpannamidam kalevaram nadharayishyeshiti kanthagarhinaha jagdhasya mohadhi vishuddhimandaso jugupsi tasyo dharanam prachakshate.
अतस्तवोत्पन्नमिदं कलेवरं न धारयिष्येषिति कण्ठगर्हिणः जगदस्य मोहादिविशुद्धिम् अन्धसो जुगुप्सि तस्योद्धरणं प्रचक्षते.
And the second line, first word, ig, jagdhasya.
जगदस्य जगदस्य.
अतस्तवोत्पन्नमिदं कलेवरं न धारयिष्येषिति गर्हिणः जगदस्य मोहिद्दि विशुद्धिमन्दसो जगुप्सितस्योद्धरणं प्रचक्षते.
Second line, second word, mohadhi.
Mohadhi. Okay.
Double that. Na veda vadhan anuvartate matihi. So see that whenever I'm breaking it like this, right, the na and all, right, it makes, at least for Bhagavatam, it makes sense to break it because, like Narayaniam, Devi Matmyam and all, no, we say it so many times that you don't have to necessarily break every im and in and everything, right? We do it. But here we don't do it regularly. So when you read it after several months, if you don't put that in and im, it becomes very hard. Right? First time it will be easy, but later on it becomes hard. So you better to put all those in, im, and every in all those places because otherwise it's very hard with all these sentences. Na veda vadhan anuvartate matihi, comma, swa eva loke ramato mahamunehe yata gatir deva manushyayof pritak, comma, swa eva dharme na param kshipet stitah. न वेदबाधाननुवर्तते मतिः स्वयेव लोके रमतो महामुनेः यथा गतिर्देव मनुष्ययोः पृथक् स्वयेव धर्मेण परं क्षिपेत् स्थितः.
न भेदबाधान अनुवर्तते मतिः स्वयेव लोके रमतो महामुनेः यथा गतिर्देव मनुष्ययो ययो पृथक् ययोः पृथक् स्वयेव धर्मेण परं क्षिपेत् स्थितः.
न वेदवादाननुवर्तते मतिः स एव लोके रमतो महामुनेः यथा गतिर्देव मनुष्ययोः पृथक् स्वयेव धर्मेण परं क्षिपेत् स्थितः.
कर्म प्रवृत्तं च nivrittam, the next word, apritam. So that word is the way to keep practicing is that the second half of that word after the ma is api ritham. So api ritham, apritam. So that's the word which will come out of it. So if you're not able to say it the first time, you can keep practicing with the word api and ritham. Okay. So nivrittam apritam, comma.
அப்பியுருத்தம்னு வராதா? அப்பியுருத்தம்னு வராதா?
இல்ல அப்பி அதான் அந்த அப்பி ரித்தம் அந்த the api and ritham becomes the apritam. And although the sound under the ya there is a r there, right? The words are api and ritham are the root words there. Okay, so nivrittam apritam. Because in the yak, you cannot put a ru, you cannot say that way. So the api ritham and becomes that way.
So ya becomes kind of a silent இதுவா?
ஆமா, literally because உங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த you cannot see like yak அடியில you cannot add the word r.
Yeah,
like you can't say that. அது முடியாது அது. So that's why the root word of that is api and ritham. So you just think of it that way. Don't worry about what is in there. It is api and ritham, so apritam. Comma vedhe vivichobhaya lingamashritam virodhi tadhyauga padaika kartari, comma dvayam tata brahmani karma narchati. Karma pravrittam cha nivrittam apritam vedhe vivichobhaya lingamashritam virodhi tadhyauga padaika kartari dvayam tata brahmani karma narchati.
कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तमप्रुतं वेदे विविच्यो भयलिङ्गमाश्रितं विरोधि तत्यौगपदैककर्तरि द्वयं तथा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नच्छति.
कर्म प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तं अप्रतं वेदे विविच्योभयलिङ्गमाश्रितं विरोधि दत्यौगपदैककर्तरि पदैककर्तरि द्वयं तदा ब्रह्मणि कर्म नर्चति
मा वः पदव्यः पितरस्मद् आस्थिता, couple of places, pitar asmad astita, comma, या यज्ञशालासु न धूमवर्त्मभिः तदन्न तृप्तैर्, breaking at the tra, तृप्तैर् asubhritbhiriditaha. First add a visarga and comma there. I'll repeat that word again. Triptair asubhritbhiriditaha, comma, avyakta linga avadhuta sevitaha. Ma vahpadavyah pitarasmadastita ya yajñashalasु न धूमवर्त्मभिः तदन्न तृप्तैर् असुभृद्भिरीडिताः अव्यक्तलिङ्गा अवधूतसेविताः.
मा वः पदव्यः पितरस्मदास्थितां या यज्ञशालासु न धूमवर्त्मभिः तदन्न तृप्तैर् असुभृद्भिरीडिताः अव्यक्तलिङ्गा अवधूतसेविताः.
मा वः पदव्यः पितरस्मदास्थिता या यज्ञशालासु न धूमवर्त्मभिः तदन्न असुभृद्भिरीडिताः अव्यक्तलिङ्गा अवधूतसेविताः.
नैतेन देहेन हरे कृतागसो, देहोद्भवेनालमलं कुजन्मना व्रीडा ममाभूत्कु जन प्रसंगतः, is goes away, visarga comma, प्रसंगतः तच जन्म धिग्यो महताम अवध्यकृत. Breaking it down. नैतेन देहेन हरे कृतागसो देहोद्भवेनालमलं कुजन्मना व्रीडा ममाभूत्कुजनप्रसङ्गतः तज्जन्मधिग्यो महताम् अवध्यकृत.
नैतेन देहेन हरे कृतागसो देहोद्भवेनालमलं कुजन्मना व्रीडा ममाभूत् कुजन प्रसंगतः तज्जन्मदिग्यो महताम् अवध्यकृत्.
नैतेन देहेन हरे कृतागसो देहाद्भवेनालमलं कुजन्मना व्रीडा ममाभूत् गुजनप्रसङ्गतः तज्जन्मदिग्यो महतामवत्यकृत्.
And the first line after the comma, dehod bhaven.
देहोद्भवेनालमलं
गोत्रं त्वदीयं भगवान् वृषध्वजो, दाक्षायणीत्याह यदा सुदुर्मनाः व्यपेत नर्म स्मितमाशु तद्यहं, डबल द तद्यहं, व्युत्स्रक्ष्य एतत् कुणपं त्वदङ्गजम्. गोत्रं त्वदीयं भगवान् वृषध्वजो दाक्षायणीत्याह यदा सुदुर्मनाः व्यपेत नर्म स्मितमाशु तद्यहं व्युत्स्रक्ष्य एतत् कुणपं त्वदङ्गजम्.
गोत्रं त्वदीयं भगवान् वृषध्वजो दाक्षायणीत्याह यदा सुदुर्मनाः व्यपेत नर्मस्मितमाशु तद्यहं व्युत्स्रक्ष्य एतत् कुणापं त्वदङ्गजम्. व्युत्स्रक्ष्य एतत् कुणपं त्वदङ्गजम्.
गोत्रं त्वदीयं भगवान् वृषध्वजो दाक्षायणीत्याह यदा सुधर्मणा व्यपेत नर्मस्मितमाशु तद्यहं व्युत्स्रक्ष्य एतत् गुणपं त्वदङ्गजम्.
first line, last word, Sudurmanaha.
Sudurmanaha. Okay.
I think it's a da, you said things instead of do or something. Yeah. Anyway, we'll stop here today. Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda, Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, Kahena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Swabhavat, Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami. Couple of quick things. Next week, I won't be able to join, but I can send you all a list of review for whoever is able to join. So I think number 322 varakum we did the Parayanam, the last Parayanam. So I can kind of create a list of whatever we can cover for 90 minutes, right? And whoever wants to sign up, feel free for next weekend. That is 214. And then
Pradeshi,
next to
Pradeshi 14, 3 to 5, we have Narayana Parayanam too.
Oh, right. Okay, that's fine then. And we can just cancel next week then. That's fine. I think I know some of you will be there, so that's fine. So we'll cancel next week. But the rest of the weeks, I may have to change the schedule for the next 2-3 weeks because I'll be in India. So we'll have to see what works for everybody. It has to be either the evening or morning US time to accommodate the India time. So we'll anyway, we don't have to discuss it now. Next week, no class. Next weekend, no class. And then அதுக்கப்புறம் we'll figure it out.
அதுக்கப்புறம் நீங்களும் அக்கேஷன் போங்க, நாங்களும் போயிட்டு வரோம் ராஜேஷ்.
அப்படியே மாத்தி we'll take turns.
இல்ல நீங்க எப்ப போறீங்களோ அப்ப சொல்லுங்க, நாங்களும் அப்பவே போயிடுறோம்.
I know Christmas time anyway people will be out, so I think one of that weekend we won't have class. Anyway, couple of classes will anyway get up canceled. I don't want to cancel all the classes till I'm back. Jan 4th, I think it's a Sunday. That day I'm back. So that day will be the usual class time on Jan 4th. So aduk nadula there are like 3 or 4 weekends I believe between now and Jan.
Guruvayur Purala Rajesh, Guruvayur Purala.
ஆமாமா குருவாயூர் அது வந்து குருவாயூரப்பன் போகாம இருக்க முடியாது. போனா every time 2 days.
Saptaham.
இல்ல just 2 days. 2 days.
2 days, okay.
2 days Guruvayur. Yeah. There's just a stopover. So yeah. Anyway, the 3 weekends we'll figure out what to do in the 3 weekends. Anyway, next weekend no class. Then.
Great.
Okay.
Are you leaving today, Rajesh?
Now in next 5
I'm
minutes.
leaving right now.
Oh,
India va?
Sriram's flight has got delayed. He has been rebooked in a different flight, so please check your flight.
Oh yeah, I'm going to Paris right now, so to Europe flight there. So Europe for 1 week and then I'm going to India. So
okay.
Enjoy, Rajesh.
Have safe
Have a great trip.
Thank you everyone.
Good.
Thank you. Have a safe trip.
Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.